Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night as applicable to you. My name is Charles, and I'm the Chief of Operations here at Townley Solutions. We've been getting a lot of questions off the internet from people about what our product is, this first one, and whether or not it actually exists in reality. So we thought we'd take you inside of the lab here so you can speak to the CEO and see our process. Ooh, I love the sound of that door. Don't you, Caleb?
Yeah, that's why I didn't fix it.
This is Caleb. He's the Chief Executive Officer and original founder of Townley Solutions, and his name's on the side of the building. Do you mind if we come on in and do some Q&A?
Yeah, let's talk.
That's more comfortable. Well, what are we looking at here? Should be a screen grab, by the way, and if we've done it incorrectly, we apologize in advance. As I said in several places on our Patreon, we are not videographers. He's an engineer, and I'm a mechanic.
That's why this is going to work.
Yes. We have some experience in business, but little to none in marketing and advertising. So please forgive us. And that's also the only AI that we use is because we suck at videography. So changing the background, not in this case, obviously it's an open window, but in the case of some of our videos and also the classic screen images simulator. So what we should be having happen with our prototype is we'll show you the screen working when my friend shows up and is able to help us record it with something that doesn't have a bunch of lines going through it, looks really horribly bad. I'm sure all of you have tried to record screens before and know exactly how poorly that goes. So we encountered the same issue. So what we did was take a still of the e-ink screen on and whatever that's called,
superimposed
that one, it onto the screen images in our advertisements. And that is the AI that you have seen. And that's pretty much the extent of it, unless I'm missing something. I think we might have color corrected a couple because apparently we don't know what white balance is either.
Yeah. So many things to learn.
Yeah.
So I started down the path of creating the watch. We are on the path. Because I didn't see any smartwatches that would give me the information I wanted and be out of the way and not be something I have to babysit and not be something I have to worry about. Usually watches are either dumb and waterproof and you don't have to think about them, or smart and sometimes waterproof, but you have to charge it every single day or every other day. Or in the case of the Pebble smartwatch, every week, which is great.
Very good.
Very good.
In fact, we've been quite impressed with Pebble.
Yeah.
After they had that whole thing happen and have done re-Pebble now.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that actually the operating system, we are setting it up so that this watch operates on Pebble OS and thus can access all of their app store and their watch faces. So as far as what do we have available, the answer is whatever Pebble has, because they were nice enough to open source, which is something we intend to do as well.
Yes, we're going to open source the mechanicals and the actually maybe even down to some electrical specs, because there's a whole lot of fun things in store for this, including possibly in the future extensibility by users and stuff like that.
Well, being able to add things to your watch later if you're technically savvy enough to do so. And also that's part of it is intends to be end user repairable.
Yeah, for non-tech heads.
For non-tech heads.
Yes.
We generally figure most people should be able to figure out how to do things like replace the screen if it gets damaged, replace the solar panel if it gets damaged, check the battery condition, things like that, that otherwise would be problematic. Prototype-wise, here are two examples of actual prototypes. These are the real motherboards off of the prototypes. You can see this one has much more wires on it and doohickeys. This one is an example that we were using for trying to figure out our enveloping process. Would you like to talk about that? This is not what it will look like, but this is our first attempt.
That is tape, packing tape.
Proof of concept, I believe.
Something that just to see how it would feel and behave. We are planning on using the clear car wrap vinyl. It's TPU actually, but on
people call it vinyl.
Yeah,
colloquially.
Yeah, it's the car wrap TPU that's self-healing. So the micro cracks, it won't. It's very difficult to pull in half, and it won't crack, or the little scratches will self-heal.
And that's the same stuff that they make, again, car wrap, specifically the clear protective wrap you put on the front of your car to prevent damage during the winter from sand or from air, rocks blowing around, things like that. And also that screen protectors themselves the entire watch will be cased in this, and we have that process down now to where, within a margin of finicking as far as time wise. It takes us a little long time to do it for our production line, but other than that, the process itself works.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we're sitting on most of our prototyping, is all the processes work. This is one of our filming models. It is a duplicate of the motherboard in print form with just the solar panel stuck in and nothing else, so we could see how that fit and then try to adjust the solar panel relative to the wrist, which is a thing. And same thing here. This is another one of our filming models you've probably seen. And this is actually the case we designed for the watch. Here's an empty one with nothing in it. You see that screen. This one has nothing. And they just look like this. And this is why we need community involvement. Because we designed a bunch of squares. And we're aware that this isn't the most aesthetically pleasing that this could be. But it is simple and it works. And so the theory is that as we go ahead, there should be more community involvement. And long story short, we are not designers as far as aesthetics. And so we want to release to the community the specifications that would be needed for cases such as this. And of course, this can be duplicated out of leather, plastic, nylon material, if you want that for the comfort of the wrist more so.
And this is the case that goes around the protective TPU.
Yes.
So
this goes inside
we were going to sell this TPU part, and then we'll have our own versions of cases, and hopefully we'll get some help on making it look better. But then the cases are going to be designable by the community. We're going to open source all of the attachment points and all that stuff. Because we understand that we can't be good at everything. And we have a very lean, small team currently. So if we can get enough support on Patreon and the other socials that we're going to be posting this out on, then we can build our team and maybe present a more polished product. But for now, we're just trying to get it to work.
And if you can't donate a large amount, that's fine. We're not looking to be millionaires here. We're just looking to get enough community involvement to actually be able to have this stuff come out looking nicer, because that's our weak point, and we're again aware.
And regardless of whether we get enough funding from Patreon to make this available to everyone, I want one.
Yeah, we're still making them.
We're making at least one.
So if you're thinking, hey, I don't know if they'll be able to pull it off, well, the answer is we have mostly functional prototypes to make it the rest of the way, because we're doing things like using Pebble OS, using pre-existing hardware, piecing together pieces from other places that are already functional into a new form factor that fits way more checkboxes, because that is our goal here. We're actually far more likely to have it finished because, we want it ourselves. It's a thing that we want to own. So we will be finishing it, and it would be cool if you want one, if you would help with that process. And so with that, we're going to take a look at the computer screen here and go into talking about what it looks like more completed, because we have the patent information sitting right here for the patent that we're running, and figured you'd like to take a look at that. Why don't you walk us through what's on the screen here?
So this is the exploded view currently of this is the PCB and the flexible screen and the connector and the solar. We are also going to use a snap bracelet, which will allow us to keep it on the wrist. And before you say snap bracelets are uncomfortable, we know that. And there are some things we can do to make the spring force non-constant. And so that it doesn't poke you on the edge. And there's all sorts of stuff. But
in addition, we're also having different attachment methods than just the spring clamp, such as a magnet, so you can actually adjust it out or in if you want it more loose fitting, and a standard clasp as an available option. Again, those come within the case. As far as the envelope, that's the watch itself. Those are all things that can be done with the exterior case.
Among other things, the watch is light enough. What do you say it was? 7/8 of an ounce?
7/8 of an ounce, about 26 grams all in, including our TPU based square of a case.
Right. And because it's so light, and because everything just fits the way it does, there's air gaps inside the envelope, which will cause this watch to float.
So buoyant.
If you're on the lake and the clasp doesn't hold because you're foot skiing or whatever, and it comes off, you'll be able to find it using Bluetooth from your phone, and it'll just be on top of the water. I can't help you if another boat runs over it and the blades chop it up, but
Yeah, that's a different problem.
it's not for that.
It's not
Bulletproof.
propeller or bulletproof,
Yeah.
but it does on its own natively float. So, or if you go swimming and it comes off and you're in a nice pond, you can see it. The general concept is to don't let it come off like any other watch, but accidents happen and we prefer to prepare for those accidents. We have a lot of customization options. For stuff like this, it's highly customizable. We literally just have a Cricut and we've cut out polyvinyl that's any color you want. We have a wood grain one as an example. And this goes over the envelope, but underneath the case. And frankly, you don't even need the case. If you want the vinyl to stay on, it's probably a good idea to have another case or something over it. But the watch itself, if you think it looks cool like this with all the circuits showing, then there's nothing stopping you from doing that. It doesn't have the sun resistance, but we are working on getting a, what do they call it? Anti-UV coating.
Yeah, anti-UV.
It's an available option from the manufacturer. We don't have to research. We're not looking into reinventing the wheel there. We just need to find which manufacturer has the best deal on coating so that we don't have to charge a lot. We're hoping to sell this thing in the $160 range at the end of it per unit, which is roughly half of the next most popular available solar-powered watch. And our duration of solar power is significantly more than that.
Yeah, because we're using a huge solar panel, we can charge inside, and the solar cell that I chose actually is designed for interior charging only.
It's the kind you would find on a calculator, actually. Like if you ever remember these things called calculators, for those of you not 40 years old like myself. Calculators have indoor solar panels, and that's what ran them for years and years and years on end. And we're using that same philosophy of keep it simple to figure out the proportions we should use. A lot of manufacturers go, well, how can we maximize profits based by the minimum necessary solar panel? We're not going that way. We just want it to work correctly and not have to worry about ever having to potentially charge it again in the entire lifetime of the device. No charger, nothing else. You set it outside somewhere, or just walk around outside, or be in a lit room that has the right lighting in it, and it's going to charge, and you don't have to think about it or worry about it or anything like that.
The light in this room would charge the watch in 2 hours.
Yeah, it's just a CFL bulb that was like $5 at Walmart.
So to charge it, you lay it on the desk, or you put it on your wrist.
Yeah, that's the preferred method, frankly.
Yeah.
In case of some sort of catastrophic, horrendous emergency, or I believe the running joke in the office is if you are a vampire, it does come with a box that has an LED panel built in when we ship it. So you'll be able to put it back in the box and let that LED panel charge at the full capacity. We don't anticipate any problems with that, but it's better to include something for a worst case scenario than need something and not give it to our consumers.
Right.
The second thing we wanted to talk about for that form factor is you may have seen mention of the tag, and that is part of what we're working on for this watch specifically. This is one of our 3D printed prototypes we've been using this is of the motherboard for placement of the buttons and also these little panels here. And what those do is allow a relief for it to bend even easier than it already does. And of course, this obviously is pretty bendy to begin with, but nonetheless, a point of intentional bending, so there is no failure point. And what's that for, Caleb?
This is an older version, but you have a gap in the electronics on either end of the display, and you just fold it and insert it into the tag case, and then you clip it on your keyring. And all of a sudden you have a solar powered
notification and emergency device.
You can find your keys from your phone and your phone from your keys, and have a watch. It's not just an AirTag, it's also a display that's always on and always charging, so long as there's light in your house.
And we do intend to come out with, at some point, different options for screens. Obviously, we're using the
electrophoretic display.
That for these, because it does have such great battery life and decent refresh rate, and because we are trying to walk away from staring at apps on your phone. However, it is totally feasible to put an OLED screen if it is determined, again, by consensus of the community that they want a better screen. It's easy for us to do that. It doesn't cost a whole heck of a lot more. You're talking maybe $5.
And some time to develop the new circuits and drivers and all that stuff.
Yes, but I'm an end user cost, maybe $5.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Costs us a lot of time, but that's an us problem. So if you would like that to be not just an us problem, we're going to send you over to Patreon, or you can just check out our normal webpage, which is townleysolutions.com. On that webpage, at the top, I believe it's the right-hand corner, we have all of the links to all of our different social medias where you can see updates such as this one, and check out how to donate money to us if you think this is something you'd be interested in. It's a great place to hear news about our development process. We are launching a Kickstarter, but we did not want to seek full price funding for the prototypes without any sort of
Reward for the
reward.
customer.
We
investors.
thought that was kind of bogus to expect people to hand you $100 a piece and get nothing from it. So after speaking with Kickstarter and looking over some of the rules, because crowdfunding is apparently its own thing, the general theory is the Model 1, the TS-1, will be a completed watch and will be available in Kickstarter very shortly. And for exactly when, follow us on social media. Check out our Patreon. If you're on our Patreon and participate in our Patreon there, you'll be able to literally go on the Discord and answer polls. And same thing with Patreon, answer polls about, hey, which feature do you think we should work on first? Hey, what do you want to see on this watch that you didn't see in our videos? And give us direct feedback, because we're really interested in making sure that this is something that people definitely want. And again, we're making it either way because we want.
Yeah, we are trying to insert a GPS module, but then there's communication steps, and so that's in the works. But we'll let you know how that's going on the socials. What is it? Townley Solutions on all of the socials?
Townley Solutions or Townley Solutions Co. Again, townleysolutions.com has all the links. I don't know which one's which offhand. I apologize.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Have a good day.